From Southern California, it's time for another episode of Cook Live with Chrissy and Dr. Kristi. Turn on the oven, light up the stove, and get ready for another delicious recipe from our plant-based, cancer-kicking kitchen. And without further ado, here are your hosts, Dr. Christy Funk and Chrissy Roth.
Hello everyone! Welcome to episode 15 of Cook Live with Chrissy and Dr. Kristi. We're streaming live to you via Zoom, YouTube, and Instagram, and we are really looking forward to cooking live with you today. If you missed any of our past episodes or recipes, you can find them all on our website, pinklotus.com/kitchen. Today we're bringing out the spring vibe, so our episode is appropriately titled by Chrissy, Cooking Lean with Spring Greens. As always, you can find the links to today's recipes on the event webpage or under recipes in the Cancer Kicking Kitchen on our website. Also, if you are cooking along with us, and I hope you are, don't forget to use our interactive recipe checklist. You just click on cook mode to make things a little bit easier to follow along. You just click it at each ingredient. So if you watched any of our past episodes, you know these really come in handy.
Yeah. Whoops, we forgot.
Oh, turmeric in the curry. With every Cook Live recipe, Chrissy and I make you a promise, and that is that this dish delivers. In fact, 3 dishes and 1 smoothie today. What? One of the many things we do here at Pink Lotus is to show you live, up close and personal, in simple, practical ways, how every single time you lift fork to mouth, food is delicious medicine. For those of you who don't know, I'm Dr. Christy Funk, board-certified breast cancer surgeon, and now board-certified in lifestyle medicine.
What?
I
know, right?
I'm also your health warrior at allthingspinklotus.com.
I'm Chrissy Roth. I'm a physical therapist. I love to cook. I am certified in plant-based nutrition, and I've been making plant-based food for, I guess, about 14 years now for my family and lots of people, and I love cooking this way. I love eating this way. I love cooking with this one, so I'm happy to be here.
And we both have gone a shade blonder and both have glasses, so it's easy to, and we both have basically the same name, so we could get interchanged. Today, we're giving away an awesome sprouting kit, just like the one I'm going to demo to you. That is making your own sprouts, broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, bean sprouts. Go sprout crazy. Just make sure to stick around for the big giveaway, and it will happen a little later in the show. However, you have to be on Zoom, not on YouTube or Instagram. So go to the Zoom link to participate. Just go to pinklotus.com/kitchen. It's not too late to sign up and join the Zoom, and that way you can maybe win a broccoli sprouting kit. Chrissy and I always start off with the drink here on Cook Live. Today's going to be the lean green smoothie in keeping with our theme. However, we actually have to start off with roasting some tomatoes.
Yeah, we're just going to throw some tomatoes in the oven. They're already washed, little organic grape tomatoes, and we have some parchment down so we don't make our pan all full of it. When you roast tomatoes, they get a little like sticky, and it's harder to clean them off the pan. So
yeah, they kind of
nice
like pop and
yeah, they pop, and you don't have to puncture them. People always ask, like, do I need to make a little slit in them? No, they'll do that themselves. They'll just kind of pop open. So we're going to do a little olive oil and just a couple of spritzes, and then some salt.
So, okay.
And just a little of both.
We have
Thanks.
already set the oven to 400 degrees.
Yes, and we're going to throw them in, and then we're just going to keep an eye on them. It's usually about 10 minutes, but you know, all ovens differ. I usually do them in an air fryer, so they're probably done a little quicker than they're going to be done here. Make sure you spread them out so they're not, you know, anytime you roast vegetables, if they're touching each other, that part isn't going to get roasted and yummy, so as yummy. So
and
just
for sure it goes for roasting tofu cubes. You want them all.
Heck yeah, yeah.
Air everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to get on to my smoothie, and the key ingredient is kale, and it's kind of an homage to our all hail kale massaged kale salad.
Yes.
So lots of kale today.
We're going
so I'm
kale
gonna
crazy.
Deep dive a little bit into the nuances of kale when we get into the salad. But for now, I'll just tell you there are several kinds of kale. The 2 most common, everybody's mostly familiar with curly kale because it is aptly named curly on the edges. My favorite is lacinato, also known as dinosaur kale, also known as Tuscan kale, aka elephant kale. You called it today. I never even heard that.
Yeah.
In terms of kale, it really, all of it is fabulous and delicious, and I'm going to go over some of the massive health benefits. They're part of the cruciferous veggie family, so all of the brassica family is just a potent source of sulforaphane, which is the most magical element on phytoplanet Earth. So, I am going to throw together the smoothie. We just need a cup of kale. And with smoothies, you know, I don't really take out the backbone.
no, you can just leave the
so
stem.
we'll do a mixture of curly, and it's just about a cup of kale. I'm going to start off.
I'll give you some of this curly because we're going to show how to stem when we do the salad. So,
right.
Why not?
Strip.
Strip
We're gonna
it.
strip for you guys. Okay, I'm throwing in a cup of coconut water. Then we're going to do a cup of pat kale. If you don't have any, you can throw in spinach, of course.
Is that all the kale you're using? You're good? You don't need any more?
It's a pat cup. You can give me a little of the curly. And I'm going to throw in, so we're going big on greens, right? So we have kale. Number 2 green, we have a little bit of our broccoli sprouts. We have to keep in with the theme. So we have our broccoli sprouts that were homemade sprouted. We're going to talk all about that shortly when we teach you how to sprout, which is a whole fun thing. But I'm just going to put a handful in there. The recipe called for half a cup. I'm going to do more green. We're going to do a little bit of mint. So I'm just going to put in like 4 sprigs of mint and green tea. So we have at Pink Lotus our own organic, highly specialized matcha. Ancient matcha comes straight from Japan and has been well studied against other off-the-shelf brand teas, green teas, and is just 157 times more packed with antioxidant absorption of EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of that. And our final green was a quarter of a medium avocado, or I could just half of this teeny but baby one.
Because we need this for the salad, unless you have another one.
I do have more in the fridge, but I will say they're kind of 50-50 these days with.
This one's pretty. Okay. Yeah,
this one's good.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw in about a quarter. This is a little less than half of a tiny avocado, and then the fruits. I've got a small grapefruit, which is actually like a big basketball right off our tree. So I only use
right off of their lemon tree.
I know. Do you guys remember? Kristi, I kept correcting her. I'm like, it's not a lemon tree. It's a grapefruit tree. We lived here for a year, and they're so massive. Like, they're huge. And she's like, those are the biggest lemons, grapefruits I've ever seen. And
no,
I'm like,
lemons. We thought you thought they were lemons.
No, I'm sure they were lemons. I was squeezing it into recipes that called for fresh lemon juice. I never
and it
noticed.
Was grapefruits.
And then one day I just took a bite of it, and I'm like, oh. It is a grapefruit. Sorry, Kristi. Okay, so we've got one small grapefruit, which to me is half of our monstrous basketball-sized ones. And then I'm looking for, it's right here. And then some frozen pineapple. I have a cup of that. This is a little bit more than a cup, so I'm not going to use all of it. Whoop, and I almost did. I got rid of some of that. And then 1 little teaspoon of ginger. I like to use these ginger cubes for stuff like this.
I do too. I love the ginger cubes.
I know.
They're the best.
And then a cup of ice, just to make it icy. And then we're ready to blend.
Yes, ma'am. I actually haven't tried this smoothie. This is very exciting, I have to say.
I think with the coconut water and the pineapple, you get enough sweetness. Some people just want more, in which case they can add a little
stevia,
agave, stevia. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna okay, on. All right.
Festive glasses.
Amazing. We have our festive glasses from our favorite au pair of all time, Jacqueline Busset.
Thank you.
And you can garnish with a little sprig of mint to make it super fancier and cute.
And pineapple,
this
maybe.
Is surprisingly low calorie, low fat. Whenever I'm making a smoothie, I always am like, Apparently, you're only supposed to use like 4 ingredients, so people Google it and like want to make it. And mine always have like 200. It made me stop. Like, don't put flax in here. I love it. It's really green.
It's
Some
good.
people.
Yeah, it's a grapefruit. It's
an overpowering taste.
at first
sure.
I was like, I don't know, but now I can't stop drinking it, so I guess I like it.
All right. Score 1 for the lean green smoothie machine. All right. We are going to, we'll save the sprouts for another moment.
Yeah.
Why don't we start
We do need to talk sprouts.
with our farro. How many
Okay.
people called it farro? Me. I called it farro forever until Chrissy came today and said something about farro. And I'm like, it's not far out, it's farro. What? And then we had to like pronounce farro to Siri.
Siri, set us straight.
Farro.
Farro.
Far out, man. Okay, now I'll never forget. I don't know
Okay,
I
so
did
why
that.
am I cutting this? That's not going in the farro. Okay, we don't. That's for the pea soup.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna start with cooking the farro. I think we've already boiled.
No, we're gonna start with we have the
Saucepan
broth going.
Veggie broth is already in there, warm and simmering.
Yes, and then in another pan we're gonna add onion and garlic. So you have to do your garlic trick.
My garlic trick. We need 3 cloves. So I just broke them off the main thing, and then they still have the skin, which can be a little tricky to get off. So one simple quick trick is to throw it in a microwave for like 10 seconds. I'm gonna do 8. And then you'll see, you just slice off the end and boop, pops right out. I feel like I need a timer on those tomatoes or I will forget all about them. That one just slid right off, it's already off. So there's that tighter end.
Yes.
And then,
okay,
right
so
out.
she's gonna mince it. When I cook with garlic, garlic doesn't agree.
that's not
I
going
want
on.
this stuff.
It's a little, is it on?
Yeah, it's on, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so garlic doesn't agree with me that well, but I love the taste of it. So I cook with whole cloves, but for their family, the more garlic, the better. So we're gonna mince it. And then we're gonna broth saute some of the onions, which we're gonna use these.
Those ones, okay.
When I'm cooking something that I know the onions aren't gonna like cook all the way down, like in a soup, I mince them a little smaller. But we have other onions that we're using in pea soup, and that is they're gonna be chunkier because we're gonna blend it anyway, and it's gonna cook forever. So, all right. So for this, we're gonna put a little broth on the pan, just a tiny bit, okay, not too much. Because we want it to come out caramelized just like we would have if we were using oil. Kristi and I both agree that there's a place in the world for oil once in a while, but not for sautéing because you just don't need it.
You don't even miss it. You don't taste the oil profile at all.
Right.
And so you just added for 1 tablespoon 120 grams of pure fat to your meal for no taste benefit. So choose oil wisely, like as a drizzle on top of something. We both always talk about how sesame oil can be like the pizzazz.
Yeah,
and
but you only need like a teaspoon of it.
chow mein or some sort of Asian dish that really requires that flavor profile.
Okay. And I'm going to get the onions in there because there's you want to usually let the broth sizzle. We're getting too excited. So usually we let the broth sizzle a little bit and then add everything, but we have so much to do, so little time, so we're going for it. So we're gonna let this needs to be a little higher. We need to get this like really cooking here. All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna saute this like we'd saute anything, and one of us will kind of be on that. And we already heated up some broth, just like warm, 6 cups of broth, which we're gonna be, 4 cups of broth, which we're going to be adding to the farro, okay? Slowly. Just, if you make risotto, you know how you heat the broth up and you add, it's the same thing as making risotto with arborio rice, but we're making with farro, which has more fiber, which definitely cooks a little faster. This is the quick cook farro, so it's definitely going to cook a little faster. We're going to have to kind of pay attention to that. And yeah. So that's about the extent of that. But there's 6 grams of protein in a 1/4 cup. We're going to use a 1/2 cup, so you're going to get 12 grams of protein versus arborio rice, which there's really negligible fiber. Okay, so.
I just realized I don't have white wine, cooking white
Oh,
wine.
you
I have
don't?
sherry and I have red.
Okay, let's use a little sherry.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so this is going now. And we're going to saute these until they look like you're sauteing in olive oil, where they're kind of caramelizing. I'm going to let the water cook off quickly here. Actually, it's broth, but you can use water too.
All right.
And then we're going to add the farro.
And meantime, oh, nutritional yeast, I got to get that.
It's here. It's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. All right. So the mushrooms. Oh, let's stem the asparaguses.
Okay.
While this is
Chrissy
going.
has a cool trick.
Okay. So this one's already stemmed. So you know asparagus gets really woody at the bottom. So to determine where you want to clip an asparagus, you grab it and then you kind of grab it halfway and hold the bottom, and then you do that. And if you kind of take a little chomp, you're like, oh yeah, this is the woody part, and it breaks kind of just in the right spot for you. So kind of go towards the bottom and then do.
Which I'm always trying to. Asparagus can be pricey, so
I know. But
so
when you
I
get the
always
woody
am
part in
trimming-
there, it's
yeah,
that's so delicious.
I decide like where to trim it, and I usually cheat, and then I never want the very
Right.
bottom of where I go.
Everybody's like spitting it out.
I
right?
know. It's like,
Yeah, JD's like, what is this?
so you've got to
Just kind of right at the bottom, and
use
then
the trick.
it pop
See,
off
look,
right
I
in the
wouldn't
right
cut
spot.
this much off.
But it's probably.
But the trick told me to.
Yeah, go towards the bottom,
Well,
and
maybe
then
I'm just breaking it in half.
you might be. You'll feel it. It just kind of gives.
That was the right one. Give me this one back.
Here, do this one. Yeah, there you go. Just hold it at the
I think
bottom.
I'm holding it too far this
Yeah,
way.
I think you are. There you go.
Okay, gosh, it's like
Yeah, and you do it from
Complicated.
this end.
you
Okay.
give the force on
Yes,
this.
exactly.
Got
All right,
it.
let's check this out.
All right, I'm going to cut these into smaller pieces, little bite-sized bits of asparagus for the risotto.
Okay, and if you could see in this pan now, you see that the onions and garlic are starting to brown up a little bit. There's a little brown in the pan.
About 5 minutes for that, and then we'll add the veggies.
Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna add these.
I have to say, like, of all the foods that I kind of missed when we went plant-based, risotto was at the top, like near the top.
Yeah.
I really missed, because it's made, traditionally with a ton of Parmesan and
Yes,
the cheesiness
I know.
of it all.
I know.
The creaminess. I missed it.
Yeah.
I
All right. Yeah.
I have to re-snap. Okay, so there's our asparagus ready
Okay.
to rock.
And here's our mushrooms. This was the whole thing of mushrooms. It's more than 2 cups, but that's okay because we love mushrooms. And
It
they
was
cook,
8 ounces.
Yeah, they cook down. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Green
So
barrel.
we're gonna bring these over because it's just about time to add them. Okay, and this is why you don't want to walk away because
Was there no broth left?
no, yeah, there was no broth left, but it's fine. I got back in time. But when you're broth sautéing, like any sauté, you want to make sure that you're kind of paying attention. I'm gonna add the mushrooms,
Got the asparagus.
add the asparagus. Yep.
Okay, one more.
This burner to go higher, but it doesn't.
Do you want it higher?
Yeah, I should probably have it on the big burner in the middle, but I already had the broth there, so we're good. It'll cook.
Okay.
It'll cook. Or maybe I won't move it. Why not?
Okay. So we've got our mushrooms, and we got our asparagus, and we're gonna now saute that up for like another 5 minutes, and then we'll be adding the farro, and that's when the white wine comes in. All right,
Okay,
cool.
while I'm sauteing, should we start prepping something else?
Yeah, we can prep.
Or do you want to talk about the sprouts?
I can talk about sprouts.
Okay.
Okay, so broccoli sprouts. This is our big giveaway. And the giveaway are 2 of these mason jars with a lid that has a fine mesh so your sprouts don't fall out. So it comes with the little plate and this easel to hold it at a tipped angle. And these are so easy. Okay, broccoli sprouts are nutritional powerhouses, right? 1 cup of sprouted broccoli sprouts, not the seeds. So 1 cup equals eating 27 cups of broccoli florets. The sulforaphane we've talked about before has this insane power to literally destroy breast cancer stem cells, both estrogen positive and estrogen negative. I've talked about it before, but I think it warrants repeating because it's just so magnificent to think that a food has that power. Albeit, this is a mouse study. And as a caveat, I'm never a fan of animal-based studies, but this happened, so I'm going to learn the lesson from it, which is pretty darn incredible and powerful, that they grafted mice with breast cancer stem cells, both estrogen positive and negative, and then injected sulforaphane into these tiny mice, their little abdomens. And what they saw was these stem cells that are thought to be the masterminds of all breast cancer recurrence because they don't divide quickly. So they evade the seek and destroy mission of chemotherapy, which is just aimed at whatever's moving fast, and the stem cells don't. So they hide and cover and they lay in wait until you think you're cured, and then boom, out they come to replicate perfectly strong, capable of taking you down cancer cells, right? Stem cells. Estrogen positive and negative, grafted onto the mice, injected with sulforaphane, and over a 3-week period, these cells went from big to going to gone. From how much sulforaphane, you ask, right? That it would be the key. It's the equivalent of 1.25 cups of broccoli sprouts every day. So when I talk to patients, particularly those with metastatic breast cancer, that is one of my must-eat superfoods on a daily basis. And that, my friends, can get pricey. So your typical little plastic container is around $3, and it's even sometimes hard to find pure broccoli sprouts. They're mixed with like broccoli and clover or alfalfa, and all sprouts have health benefits, but the study is from the broccoli sprouts, right? So I want you to think about making them yourself. There's a number of randomized controlled trials, by the way, on the use of broccoli sprouts that complement the treatment of other things besides breast cancer, specifically diabetes. So half placebo, half getting broccoli sprout capsules. And they found that those getting the broccoli sprouts in a matter of weeks reduced oxidative stress, inflammation, insulin resistance, fasting blood sugars, and therefore insulin requirements. Their hemoglobin A1Cs went down. And also, what about cancer? So I just told you about the magnificence of the stem cell destruction by broccoli sprouts. We also know that cancer has a receptor, has a receptor on it called CD36 that's upregulated by consuming saturated fat. Okay, so is there anything that downregulates said CD36 receptor? Indeed there is. I bet you could guess. It's broccoli and broccoli sprouts. So they appear to decrease expression of CD36 by 35%, again, in mice. So what do we know about humans? We know in several human studies that 1 serving of cruciferous veggies a day will decrease breast cancer, lung cancer, bladder cancer, ovarian cancer, and pancreatic. We have randomized controlled trials in all of those cancers in humans, not mice. The mechanism of action, not entirely clear, but we're trusting in sulforaphane in the sprouts. So one 2020 study, so really recent, was done in advanced pancreatic cancer. And sadly, I'm sure some of you know that most pancreatic cancer is diagnosed, quote unquote, too late, stage 4, and people do eventually die from most pancreatic cancer that's diagnosed unless you're super lucky and kind of incidentally, accidentally get it diagnosed at stage 1 or 2. Anyway, so these advanced stage pancreatic cancer patients were given pulverized broccoli capsules, sprouts, or a placebo. And after just 4 weeks, 18% of the placebo group had died in 4 weeks, but none in the broccoli sprout group. By 3 months, 25% of the placebo group had died and none in the broccoli sprout group. And by 6 months, there had now been 43% of the people in the placebo group having died, along with 25% of the broccoli sprout group. So that's pretty powerful. The sulforaphane content in broccoli sprouts obviously somehow contains the power to mitigate the things that cancer needs to thrive and survive inside your body.
Kristi, there's some really good questions.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
1 tablespoon of seeds makes about 2 cups of sprouted sprouts. I'm going to get you into that. Okay, love this. All right, I'm sorry. So Lorna has been wanting to learn about sprouting. I'm about to teach you how. And we just started talking about Angela. In New York, it's $6 for a small container. Okay, so let me tell you how much it is. So it's about $20 I forgot to bring my bag out, a bag of organic broccoli sprout seeds, right? $20, but a tablespoon makes 2 cups of sprouted seeds. Long story short, it comes out to 25 cents a cup.
Sorry, could we put a pin in that? Because I need to do this.
Okay, what are we doing?
We're gonna add the farro. So a cup of farro.
Go for
now,
it.
truth be told, this is quick cook. I usually use regular. So I think I cooked the vegetables more than I would have, knowing that this isn't gonna be in there as long. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So the farro goes in, and I'm gonna mix it in. And then you can deglaze the pan with some white wine. I'm going to use just a tiny bit of sherry because
that's what we got.
That's what she has, and I think it'll work. I'm going to use a little bit of sherry. And
what else do you need from me? I'm going to grab
that's going to absorb some of the liquid, and then I'm going to start adding warm broth, just like you would with regular risotto. I'm going to add some warm broth, a little at a time, with a ladle, which I don't know where they are, so I have to find one. Where would the ladles be?
Oh, here.
Thank you. Good spot for it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to add a little broth at a time, and let this continue to cook.
Sorry. I made you overcook.
No, it's fine.
She was being too polite.
I was going to cook it longer.
Can I go back to sprouting?
I'm trying to stand out of the way for the camera, and I'm making it.
No, you're fine. Okay, so back to sprouts. These are the sprouts. I ran away and got them. Handy pantry sprouting seeds, organic broccoli sprouts. So this is what I used. I put 2 tablespoons. So all you do, so easy. And actually, you can just use a normal mason jar if you don't win the prize of these. And then use like a handheld, but it has to be thin. Make sure your seeds aren't going to follow through the strainer, but you can use a handheld strainer and then just put it on. Okay, I've read about disadvantages of buying sprouts due to contaminated with bacteria. Is this not a problem with home sprouting? Debbie, such a good question. I want to tell you something. There was a study that looked at 5 million store-bought cups of sprouts, 5 million, and 1 in 1,000 were contaminated with bacteria. So it's pretty safe to go for it with the store-bought sprouts if you've got the extra change. They're safe and just rinse real well. When it comes to your own sprouts then, it's known that the bacteria are on the seeds. So that's part of what's going on when we soak them for between 4 and 12 hours before you actually commence the sprouting process. Chrissy here has an extra special tip and trick.
I do.
Do you want to share?
Well, I get, I don't know, maybe overly paranoid about it because there has been so much press on sprouts getting people sick, even though Dr. Greger showed that that's generally not the case. So I rinse them. I put like a teaspoon of like very all natural dish soap, not like, chemical dish soap, but just a little, and then I shake it up with the seeds in it, and then I rinse it really, really well. And I just read in a couple of places that that's an extra step you can do to ensure that there's no bacteria on the seeds. Just like agitate them really well with a little soap. So that's what I do. And maybe it's a little much, but it makes me comfortable because I eat a lot of sprouts, and I sprout a lot. And these are very cleaned up sprouts. When you're done sprouting, they'll end up looking like this, but they have the hulls. The hulls do not come off. So what I did is you have a big bowl of water. You dump, when these are all sprouted, and they're about this big, just like they look in the store, you dump them in a big bowl of water, and then you swish them around. And the hulls will all come to the top, and then I have like a little strainer, like one of the tiny little strainers, and I just get it off the top and dump it out, and then I swish them around, and you just have to do that a few times. I was hoping to show you that, but yeah, exactly. Like just use this and you just skim. You're basically like a pool skimmer. You're skimming the hulls off. You can eat the hulls. They just don't taste that great, so I usually take as many as I can off.
Yeah. Okay, so really quickly, you go from seed to sprout, ready to eat in 5 days. It's super fast. First step, you take 1 or 2 tablespoons of the seeds, throw them in your jar, and then cover them with water. Put them anywhere on a shelf. It's direct sunlight, indirect sunlight, doesn't matter at this point. You are just soaking them between 4 and 12 hours. Then they're in here. So you're going to put your lid on, and this allows for aeration, but it also allows you to dump out the water. So you dump out the water, and then you use filtered water to rinse them twice a day, and then you're gonna put them on your rack. So I'm gonna show you, the filtered water here takes a day and a half to make this much come out of the fridge, so I did it ahead of time instead of using the sink water. But here we go. I'm gonna pour this straight through the lid. You rinse twice a day. So all you do is swish it around and then turn it upside down. And then kind of sideways. When you go straight upside down, the seeds plug the little holes. So you just shake it until you get most of the water out. Then what I always do, so that they have more air per seed, I just give it like a twirl around so that they largely stick to the sides. And then we're gonna go back to our little magic. Okay, at least I feel so good. Got a little microphone difficulty. There we go. My mic is back. Sorry if that hurt anybody's ears. So we give it a little twirl around so the seeds are on the edges, and then in your store-bought or Amazon-bought little thing, you just go on the rack, and the excess water is going to drain out in about 12 hours. First thing in the morning when I wake up, and then before I go to bed, basically, I remember, oh, got to do my seeds, and that's it. These seeds were started on Sunday, so we're now 48 hours in, and you can see with a close-up that it's germinating. So we have the seeds starting to sprout with the little white tails forming.
Yeah.
And
now they're really going to go. Once they start, in 2 days, they're like, whoa.
Yeah, they're going to take up the whole jar.
And it's nice to get them in the sun a little bit once they start sprouting and you see the little leaves, because photosynthesis is...
Right, if you are the lucky winner of these particular jars that I'm going to send to you, and the little kit comes with the blackout sleeve, that's specifically for bean sprouts, like the white, bean sprouts, because you don't want the photosynthesis. You want them to be white, so you cover them in darkness so that they won't photosynthesize and turn green. But these guys, you want green. And that's literally all there is to it. It's just rinse twice a day, turn upside down, and in 5 days you have, if you're in New York, $12 to $18 worth of sprouts. Okay.
True.
And that's the sprouting. It's just so simple. There's no reason not to throw and how do you use them? You just saw I put it in this smoothie. If you really don't like the taste, you can camouflage it. If you love sprouts, salads, sandwiches,
like a veggie sandwich
avocado
with
toast,
some hummus and some roasted red peppers and a big pile of sprouts and some Dijon mustard. So
that
good.
sounds like
probably my favorite
partially
sandwich.
like the best sandy you never had.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That has tofu on it.
If you remember.
You can tell I'm kind of like
repeat.
I'm a repeat person. Yeah, I like what I like. All right.
Understood. All right. Where are we
anyway,
going?
so I think we're gonna while this is cooking, because it is taking. It's been 10 minutes and it's still going. So we're gonna show you how to stem kale. This is how you stem kale. You hold the stem, and you just pull it along. That's it. This is even easier to stem. Sometimes if it's really leafy, you kind of have to get up towards the top. But we stemmed most of it, so you don't have to sit here and watch us stem kale. But we just want to show you how to do it, because not everybody knows how.
And then we get a cute little bowl for our salad.
Yes, and we're going to break it into little bite-sized pieces because we're going to be, that's okay,
Yeah.
we're going to be eating this, and you don't want to be chewing on huge pieces of kale. Even though we're massaging it and they're going to become very tender that way, you still don't want to be chewing on large pieces. So we're going to break it up. You can chop it also. It's actually really nice sometimes to chop kale into ribbons and do like a ribbon kale salad. If you eat a lot of kale, it's nice to vary it up. It is a different feel when you eat it. So, but this one, for all intents and purposes, we are just going to tear it into tiny pieces. So
I promised a small little waxing on about the benefits of kale.
Yes.
So it is one of those, superfoods that lives up to the hype. And we talked about the different varieties of curly and lacinato, and it all kind of doesn't matter. Baby kale, by the way, is curly kale. That is just harvested at a younger age, unlike baby carrots, which are just your full-on carrot shaped into pellets. So there's nothing baby about them. Misnomer. Kale is really low in calories, as you can imagine, but it's also really high in fiber and protein. In fact, 21% of all the calories in kale come from protein. It's also rich in minerals. Iron and potassium are two that all people, not just plant-based people, tend to be low in, so that's a nice perk. Okay, so here's the big question: raw or cooked? they're pretty similar nutritionally. There are a few key differences though. So cooked kale. One, it delivers significantly more vitamins A and K1. Cooked kale also reduces the effect of certain so-called anti-nutrients or oxalates in kale, including goitrogens. So cruciferous veggies have been implicated in certain situations to interfere with how your thyroid gland uses iodine. On the other hand, raw kale has more vitamin C because that's water soluble, and so when you cook it, the C gets absorbed into the water and lost from the food, and you have a little bit more of the potent antioxidant sulforaphane when it's raw. Cooking destroys the enzyme myrosinase that takes your isothiocyanate into the magical sulforaphane, which is the magical thing that was injected to make the stem cells disappear, right? So you need to have it raw to get the right amount of sulforaphane. You can cook it and then add raw bits on top to add the enzyme back, and then you can have kind of you can have your kale and your sulforaphane too.
Can you eat too much kale is one of the questions.
You know, you can in terms of oxalate content and anti-nutrients. You can get kidney stones. And I would say more than 3 cooked cups a day is probably into the too high of an oxalate range if you're doing
and
it
remember,
on a daily
like
basis.
when you cook this is going to end up being 2 cooked cups because it shrinks like
it disappears,
right? So
yeah. So actually, one of the final benefits of cooked over raw is that you can just eat larger quantities, which is a very good thing, except in excessive. So I would say 3 cups of cooked daily, like 4 or more days a week.
And I think in large quantities, it's also just like if you're trying to get that kale in and like you get it down, that's what you're talking about is being able to eat in large quantities, right? Yeah, because some people don't love it raw, although you'd like it if we made it for you. But some people don't like it raw, and so in fact, I prefer cooked kale. I love cooked kale. Mm-hmm. I could probably eat too much kale because I love it. But yeah, so I'll like make it, and you know, you're supposed to have like 2 fistfuls a day of greens, cooked greens. So I can easily get that if I cook it. Whereas if it's not cooked, it's way more than a fistful. It's harder to do that. It doesn't agree with my stomach all that much. So.
We have a few questions that we're going to answer. So one, is it safe to eat sprouts when you're pregnant? And you know, I've never researched that. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. But I'm not going to be the one
I think
to
they
tell a
fall in
pregnant
that
person.
same category as, like, don't they fall in the category like be cautious because with all those other types of things that you're cautious with when you're pregnant? I thought. I know I didn't eat it when I'm pregnant.
Well,
when I was
all the
pregnant.
things you're not supposed to potentially have when you're pregnant are like fish,
honey,
right?
because that could have bacteria,
right? I mean,
which it usually doesn't,
could.
right?
So I don't know. I'm not going to give that a yes or no because I don't know. But I wanted to show you that I saw the question and didn't answer because I didn't know the answer. All right. Do you put them in the dark in the beginning, Betty Ann? No, you do not. Just windowsill. You can even do direct light around day 2 or 3 of the sprouting to enhance the photosynthesis and make your sprouts look darker. What if you put kale in a smoothie? Then that's eating it raw, and it will lyse the compartments, and you'll get the myrosinase. You'll get the sulforaphane. So if that's what you mean by what about a smoothie, you get all the sulforaphane. If adding kale to soups, Kathy asks, does the water soluble nutrients remain in the soup broth? Yes, they do. So you won't lose the C.
But make sure you eat the broth.
Right. Well, she's having it as a soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes my family will like eat everything in the soup and then just
Leave the juice.
Does your whole family like nutritional yeast? Because I'm about to put this in. Okay.
We all do. I've been eating a lot of raw kale, says Angela, in my daily salads. Love. Should I use another green instead? No. I mean, if you love raw kale, go for it. I like to do, my favorite is just a mix of kale and arugula. There's that mescaline like mixed that comes as mixed greens, and every time I buy it, I like it, but I miss my kale and arugula mix. So if you love it, go for like if you're a creature of habit, like both Chrissy and I, there's no reason to switch it up. You're really not getting that much. The concentrations of sulforaphane are pretty similar throughout the cruciferous kingdom, except, as you well know by now, in the broccoli sprouts, which have 100 times the sulforaphane content of broccoli. Okay, or 27 cups to 1.
Where's the bowl?
I like to use power greens. Okay, not only are they more tender than the larger, tougher kale, but I get more greens overall. Yeah, the power greens, they're great. So
I'm trying to find a small bowl to
all greens
serve
are wonderful.
a serving bowl.
Middle drawer.
Okay.
Please share a link for the trays and sprouting jars. Yes, you know what? I just got them on Amazon, but Andy, you might be able to find that for us and put it up in the chat, okay? Because it's in our purchased items. All right, so those are the questions for now.
Okay,
I
so
love
I
how many
added.
people are here. Hi, everybody. Where are you from, by the way? Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, we're done.
Sorry, we have to we're trying to make so many things, and
I
so
know.
I want to show you, and I want you to taste it. And I did put about a half a cup of nutritional yeast in, and you know what? I added a teaspoon of basil too, which isn't in the recipe, but it will be as soon as I'm done here. So I'll add it.
Okay.
I just felt like it needed it.
I'm
This
so
is how
excited.
I cook. Last time I didn't add anything. This time I was like, it needs basil.
Is it going to be hot?
Yes, but it's gonna be good.
But if I burn my tongue, I won't burn the chalk. Okay.
No, just wait a second.
It smells so good.
It's pretty hot, but I had a bite.
You're not tasting it because it smells like garlic. You don't want it. Good, more for
I
my
did taste
family.
it. It's good.
Okay.
I tasted it. Just want you to taste it.
It's heavenly.
It's so good, right? Okay, good.
So good.
Good.
Mwah. You won't be disappointed. This is a pretty great crowd pleaser.
Show you while it's still steaming, and this is what it looks like.
And we could put parsley to garnish just to make
Yeah.
it pretty.
Yes. Yep.
So pretty
Some
now.
chopped parsley. Oh.
Get out of there.
Just throw it. All right. So there's
Back to
that.
the kale. Let's massage. Let's talk.
Let's massage it. I know. I feel like I should
talk
take
too
my
much
rings
about
off.
kale. I just love kale. All hail kale.
Oh, hell, kale. All right. So we have to cut an avocado. And let's go to the next recipe. See, we have our handy dandy recipes all pulled up. So we are going to use one ripe avocado, hoping this is ripe enough, and then I think it's 2 tablespoons of lemon juice we do.
Okay, I'll get the lemon juice.
Yeah, we're gonna do fresh lemons. If you have fresh lemons, use them.
If you don't, I always have this big of a lemon jar in my fridge because they're not always available.
They're not always available. We luckily can just go pick them off trees in California.
Or you can pretend
Yay!
they're lemons when they're grapefruits.
Yeah, you could do that too. Why does this always taste so
Yes,
weird?
that is a gorgeous looking avocado.
It
Don't,
is.
avocado hand.
But no, it's the pit.
Don't you know what, guys, I've talked
I'm
about
not
this
gonna get
before.
avocado hand.
You can, you will. I mean, I could sew you up. You wouldn't have to go to the ER, but you'd get my
That's
salad
true.
bloody. Stop it. You're
All right.
freaking me out.
No avocado hand. Oh my gosh.
Chrissy.
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Do
Move
not
along,
do that. You'll get
move
avocado
along.
hand, and you won't have
Nothing
Chrissy to
happening
sew
here.
you up.
Avocado hand is what when I worked trauma in the ER, it's what we called the people literally cutting avocados who came in with their hands sliced open because
They went like that.
They just did what she was doing. Sliced straight through the avocado and their hand.
You know what the most hand is in New York?
The most hand?
The most cut, like there's avocado hand in California. In New York, there's a hand, like people show up at the ER all the time for cutting like into their hands really badly.
Because it's so cold and they wish they lived in California, they just cut.
No, it's bagel hand. People are holding a bagel, and then they cut their hand.
Anyway, the proper way of getting seeds out, which I believe we've demonstrated, and Chrissy wasn't looking, is if it's quite ripe, like this one happens to be, you just turn it upside down and give it a little squeeze, and the puppy will fall out. Okay?
Yeah, but that would not have happened with that. I did what I had to do. It's not that soft, that avocado.
Agreed. So what you could have, should have, would have done, had you been listening to me before, is you put the avocado down, away from all flesh and blood. And I learned this when I was at Stanford. I had a job in the deli.
Oh, that's right, your deli job. That's
and
right.
so there was the pit. If
Putting
it's
it
in
here.
there, you just make a cross on it. So first you go whack, and then you lift it
Away
up, and
from
it'll
your
come up with
hands.
the pit. You put it. Then you do it crossways and go whack again. And this time, when you give it a little twist, the pit will be attached to your knife. I promise.
I'm still gonna do it this way next time because I like the reaction. It was fun.
Wait, isn't this for the dressing?
Yeah, that's why I'm putting it over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Enough
So
chastising.
we need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice.
Okay. And this is going in the dressing?
Please, please, please. Yes.
So I should rinse my blender, right? Of the
Yes.
smoothie we're putting in the blender?
No, we
What?
don't even need it in a blender. We can just chop it up, and because we're going to squish it into the kale anyway, so you don't technically need it, but you can.
That's fine.
Did we even check the tomatoes?
No, they're definitely done.
Oh, they're done all right. Yep.
Woo!
And the other thing when you're cooking,
tomatoes.
it helps to set an alarm. Just saying.
I even said that at one point. If you rewind the tape, you will see that I said we should set an alarm, or we'll probably roast the tomatoes for 45 minutes. Almost correct. It was 44 minutes.
Yeah.
They're done. Okay, so we have avocado and 2 tablespoons of lemon. You have the thing for that one? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can throw that in, and I'm going to get the lemon. I'm going to try to pick out the pits so they don't end up in there. This lemon is bigger than my squeezer.
So we'll get all of this in there. And I love this dressing because it's just avocado. There's no oil, and you're getting all the nutrition out of the avocado.
Which
is
a
really
medium
nice.
avocado has 13 grams of
You
fiber.
know what? Let's blend it.
Healthy,
I don't wanna be lazy.
monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated fats. But high in fiber. So
I have to
that's
say, when I'm lazy, I'll just squish it all in there. But this avocado isn't super ripe, so I think it's going to be better if we just blend it up. Yeah.
Okay.
If it was riper, I would go for it, but I think
go with
it
that's
might
enough
be a
lemon.
problem.
This is gonna be lemony.
Okay, and we need some maple syrup and some salt and pepper.
Okay. Salt is in the brown thing that stayed here
I have it.
somewhere. Oh, you took it.
Yep.
Okay. Pepper's in the grinder. Oh, the tomatoes look pretty.
Yeah, they do. They do.
But who has 45 minutes? Okay.
No,
Pepper.
well, they would have been done a lot sooner than now. We forgot about them. Or I'll say I forgot about them since I put them in there and should have been
Okay.
paying attention. And then some maple syrup.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah, I think it's a tablespoon, but let me double check because I don't always remember what to do. Yeah,
A
tablespoon.
maple. Oh, I got maple syrup in the fridge.
Okay.
I do. I was looking for the agave in the cabinet, and Andy puts so much agave in his coffee.
Oh.
His mushroom coffee we're obsessed with.
Yeah, I know. I love that
But
mushroom coffee.
he goes through it. How much?
Tablespoon. Okay.
Tablespoon.
Tablespoon. An approximate tablespoon, which is fine. All right, let's blend this up. All right, and let's get it on the side.
The recipe calls for roasted nuts, so you could use almonds or walnuts, pecans. Roasting nuts, sadly, like this is tragic
this breaks
in
my
the plant
heart.
food kingdom of
I do
us
not like this.
vegans. So roasting nuts creates something called ages. It actually literally ages you. The acronym, it just tells you what it does. I think we need a spatula.
That's so heartbreaking.
It stands for Advanced Glycation End Products. And they're just like super inflammatory and make you age and die. So you shouldn't have them, but they're so delicious.
That's
and
the
we get it.
worst.
And I think, at some point in healthy eating, when you don't have any diseases that you're trying to reverse, which you can successfully do. I mean, we're talking cardiovascular disease, diabetes. You can stave off Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative diseases, which, by the way, bringing me back to kale. There's a protein called Nerf2. It is not the second generation Nerf football. It is Nerf2, and it increases the anti-inflammatory component and protects your neurons against toxins.
Oh.
And it's thought that the sulforaphane in the cruciferous veggies protects against Alzheimer's via Nerf2.
Wow, okay.
Okay, so if you're eating really well and you're not actively with the disease, and you know what I'm saying, like it could be your biggest cheat in the world is a roasted nut.
Yeah.
So be it.
Okay.
Turns out my son Ethan's throat will close up with walnuts, so I chose slivered almonds today.
That was nice of you.
Yeah. Just
Let's
so
keep
Ethan
Ethan
can
alive.
live another day.
We love Ethan. All right, so hold on. I'm not done massaging. And as I am a physical therapist, so I like to get in there. So you'll know when it's done. I mean, the bottom line is it's going to get soft. Like in the restaurants, when you have kale, you know the difference when you get a kale salad and it's just meh, and you get one that it's like the kale is really soft and feels amazing. And honestly, you got to like to get messy. I took my rings off. You take your jewelry off. Do not try to do this with jewelry on. It gets really nasty. And then I'm going to just give a little bite and see where it is. Actually, it's super messy. Yeah, it's good. And it's going to sit, and as it sits, it's going to wilt more. Okay.
It takes away some of the bitterness, and it just makes it like soft and delicious.
And now we're gonna put as many nuts as you guys want on there.
Okay.
And then just a little bit of cranberry. You don't need, I mean, the dressing's pretty, depending on how much maple syrup you put, the dressing's pretty sweet, so.
Yeah, but it's so pretty.
I know.
And my kids will eat
Oh, they love cranberries? Okay, then, yeah.
Gotta make them eat the kale. And they actually just trying to eat the cranberries, and they accidentally get some kale.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what's
there you
gonna
have
happen.
it.
Questions. Angela, smart. She just rips open her bagels. Doesn't use a knife.
Smart.
Okay, Debbie.
I love that. Yes, good for
So
you.
are activated nuts okay, given that low temperatures are used?
Like sprouted nuts or activated?
Activated. I think not, unfortunately. It's the combination. It's any heat with something in the nuts. I don't know if it's the fat or the protein. I forget that gives off the ages. Is the fat in the nuts or the protein? Do you know?
Oh, that are in the, I thought it was
They create the
protein.
ages.
I thought it was the protein, but I could be wrong.
Anyway, low heat, high heat. It's heat plus that component that makes the
Actually,
age.
it's probably the fat because there's more
I think
fat
it's-
in
I think
nuts.
it's fat.
Yeah, there's barely any protein in a lot. of them.
Was that new salt? That was Himalayan pink salt. I have new salt. I have 5 okay, this is for a different Cook Live sneak preview. I bought 5 different types of salt substitutes that substitute sodium out and potassium in. And I was going to give you the taste test of it, and I was going to have my whole family do it and tell you. I will do the outcome.
Okay, we have to do that.
Because I'm trying to find one that truly fools them. Now that they know I'm into these substitutes, they're pretending like they can tell, and they hate it all, and they go find the real salt and they use it. I should just get rid of it. In case you don't know why, I talked about previously how the top 5 nutritional reasons why people die. The top 5 nutritional reasons. 1 is an excess, and the next top 4 are a deficiency. So the number 1 was an excess of salt, of sodium. That is literally our number 1 killer. Did I tell you the whole story? If I don't, I'm going to repeat it. So in 1976, the McGovern report came out, and he had charged a council with the task of finding out why Americans are spending so much money on healthcare dollars. He wants to know, what can we do to reduce all of this healthcare spending? And so the team goes out, comes back, and says, we figured it out. It is eating too much salt, eating too much meat, too much sugar, and processed food, which was like hardly a thing
and
in
what year was
1976.
this? Oh,
1976.
and it's taken us this long to realize that is
That report
absolutely true.
basically never saw the light of day, but through the Freedom of Information Act, people and organizations have procured the documents, and what happened was there's like an open forum where you can create a rebuttal and argue against this becoming like policy through the USDA.
Wow.
You need to look this up because it's shocking and it's not shocking when you actually hear it. So the salt industry representatives came before Congress or McGovern. I mean, I should have researched this exact story. Did not, the details might be a tiny bit off, but the story is not. The salt industry came, and almost verbatim, this is what they said. We understand that your concern is that you're spending too much money on healthcare dollars, and you're recommending people cut back on salt. 1976. We advise against this because if people cut back on salt, they will live longer, and then you will spend more money on their longer life. Their argument was that, yeah, you're right, salt does kill people. Don't you want it that way to spend less on people?
Wow.
Yeah, for
Wow.
real. That was their
Nice.
argument. And it won because it actually didn't become, the money won. Anyway, back to salt. So eating too much salt is our number 1 dietary killer. And then, because I didn't know I was going to mention this, the order might be off on the grading of the next 4, but these are the next 4 in some order. Not enough fruit, not enough vegetables, not enough whole grains, and not enough nuts. But unfortunately, it's not roasted nuts. Raw nuts. I do find raw walnuts delicious.
The roasted nut thing has depressed me more than a lot of other things.
You're almost cheerful now.
You know how upset I am about this.
You
I
know
want
this
someone
is-
to do a study and prove it otherwise.
I
I'm
know.
fine with not eating meat. Don't take my roasted nuts away.
Totally.
But okay.
All right.
I also love walnuts, and they don't need to be roasted. So.
That is delicious.
Okay, so close up. Hello, here it is. It's
All
beautiful.
hail Kale.
kale. Let's see. Am I getting? Okay.
So
There
pretty.
it is. All right, so you see how pretty that is, and I'm gonna let Kristi taste it. Yeah. Give it a dig in.
Yay.
Then you can decide, does it need more or less of whatever? Well, less we
Give
can't
it a
do, but
tomato.
more we can.
Mmm. Perfection. I love, someone may put in a little too much lemon.
Oh yeah, I know, there was more than 2 tablespoons of lemon. She was going for it, I'm like,
You
that's
know
what I saw.
why? I thought we made more than I thought there was more kale than we said.
Oh, but the dressing was the same.
Right, but I thought we had to dress more kale.
Oh, I got you.
But it was not enough.
Okay,
Whatever.
it's pretty
a little
lemony.
lemony, but
It
it's
is.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Follow the recipe next time, Kristi, and then you won't be so lemony. But it's not bad. It's just
It's
lemony.
good. It's
Yeah.
very lemony.
Love, love.
Okay.
We're missing an entire entree. We're
Yeah.
moving on.
Our pea soup.
Minty pea soup. Are we really going to get through
And
this?
mint, yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll do it. Well, we're gonna get it on. It's not, pea soup takes a really long time to cook.
Between like
So-
45 minutes and an
Oh,
hour and a half.
aren't raw cashews unhealthy?
No.
No, they are not unhealthy.
You worried about like phytates in nuts, maybe? The phytic acid? You just really need to soak them if that's the issue and the problem. You can get some bloating, gastric
Yeah.
pain, and then they interfere with the absorption of calcium, iron, and zinc. So if you soak them overnight, which is what you do mostly with raw cashews.
I
'cause
know,
then
a
you're
lot of
gonna throw it
recipes are
into
saying
soups
that
and
quick, the quick soak though, like just
5 minutes on boiling
5 minutes
water.
on boiling water.
That'll
I
get
just,
rid of the
it does get rid of the phytates? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
fair enough. So, okay, this is pea soup. For any type of soup, when I do like my carrots and my celery and my onions, if it's going to be a blended soup, I get a little lazy and I cut the veggies up a little bigger than if we're eating the soup and you're eating the veggies like in each bite, right? So we just do kind of like, I would just call it chunkier. You're still going to cut them up, but they're going to be a little chunkier. And so I have 2 celery ribs, 2 carrots, 1 large onion. And as I said, I'm not going to go too crazy cutting these up because this soup is going to be cooking for a very long time and be blended. I make cheese with raw cashews, so you hope it's not bad for you.
Oh.
Yeah, Betty Ann, just make sure you do soak them. But I think you're going to be just fine. I use a lot of raw cashews as well.
I was going to rinse these. Speaking of phytates, I do like to rinse the peas.
Yeah.
Some people say to soak them even overnight in the fridge if you're planning this soup with a little heads up. Again, it's just all about the phytates. Which
It also,
have never bugged me,
this
but-
cooks for so long too. I
Right,
mean, to
you're just
get
gonna
peas
sizzle
to be
them away.
done cooking, I don't know, you're cooking them for a long time.
All right.
It's almost like cooking, when you cook raw beans. It says the recipe, sometimes it'll take 45 minutes. I usually like cook them for about an hour and a half. This soup.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we do.
I was so excited. I thought I found a wedding ring, but Chrissy found it.
I took it off when I did the kale. All right, so we're
Really
gonna get it
quickly,
in the
you know
pot.
what we can do to occupy people? We've got our veggies cut,
Yeah.
but I'm going to do the giveaway question.
Yeah, let's do it, and I'll
then
get
we'll
this
cut back
going
to
because
the
nobody
minty
needs
pea
to
soup,
watch this.
and
They
we can
already
tell you
saw
what we're
broth sauteing.
Okay. So, all right, giveaway. Again, if you are joining us via Zoom, all you have to do is guess the correct answer and type it in the chat. Everyone, you get 1 guess. You give 1 answer. And if for some reason you submit multiple ones, we're just going to use your first one. So don't do more than 1. Also, if there is a tie, which has happened once before, we'll randomly select the winner. All right, now, usually we do some sort of tricky question for our giveaway, but it always has to be something you can't Google really quickly. And today we just kind of ran out of ideas and decided we're just going to play with numbers. So I picked a number before the show began, and I wrote it on a chalkboard that's over here so I can show you that I didn't pick a fave who got that number. So it's between 1 and 100, and you just have to guess which number it is. So guess away, which number between 1 and 100, including 1 and 100, did I pick? And we'll announce the winner in a little bit. And the winner, of course, gets the awesome sprouting kit that I demoed earlier. All right, guess away, peeps. Woo, they are going after it. 26, 56, 57, 75, 67, 68, 14, 65, 27. I could just stand here and shout out numbers. Okay. In a large pot, we're sauteing onions, carrots, celery, and garlic. In a little bit of broth, because we don't saute in oil.
Except I don't have garlic.
I have garlic.
But you know, you could just use whole cloves since this is going to cook so long, and then you're going to blend them anyway. So if you'd like to do that,
I would like to do
it
that.
saves your mincing, and I like the way they come out better. Just saying.
I'm going to do my microwave trick.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? That just needs to go.
Oh, it does. Okay, sorry. All right, so I think we're just going to kind of more or less walk you through this because it's really easy. So almost all soups start with your mirepoix, which is your onions, carrots, and celery, which you saute in a little bit of broth and do that for about 5 or 10 minutes until they release a lot of flavor and caramelize a little bit. And then we add whatever else it is. And so next we're going to add 2 cups of dried peas and vegetable broth, bay leaf. There's always bay leaf in pea soup, at least there is in my pea soup. And then thyme, and then half of the chopped mint leaves in the recipe, and then half will be later. It's a spring, I feel like it's more of a spring pea soup because of the leaves. I do use dried peas because they have like more protein than, and I like the protein punch versus using fresh peas. Although it's kind of fun to throw some fresh peas in at the end. Like,
that's nice for a little snack.
Yeah, so like you
like
get some peas in at the end,
didn't buy them,
or on the top. That's okay. Sorry.
A cup of peas has 16 grams. A cup of cooked peas. So the soup, a cup of the soup will have 16 grams of protein, which is super high.
It's nice.
And it has 16 grams of fiber. And I'm obsessed, as you know, with fiber.
Yes.
Not just like your mother, who probably you think Metamucil when you think fiber. At least I did for a long time until I really studied fiber. Because that's how I knew it. It was like a stool bulker, anti-constipation thing. I knew you'd get less diverticulosis and colon cancer. Like that was fiber. So much more. And it's really just getting uncovered now in the literature. But the main thing about right now that I just want to say about peas and fiber is that in your 16 gram of fiber, most of it is soluble and most of that is called pectin. And pectin is like chocolate chip cookies to your gut microbiome, like it's its favorite dessert. So it's eating this soluble fiber called pectin, releasing a litany of antioxidants and vitamins into your bloodstream, anti-inflammatory power, feel-good hormones. Like it literally changes your neurotransmitter balance so that you're happier. Like the same thing that Prozac does, pectin in your gut will do. The microbiome will take over and make you feel happier because you had split pea soup.
But there's lots of bacteria in your gut, and some of your bacteria might like a different type of fiber. So that's why it's important to eat a varied diet and not just like load yourself up with the same type of fiber. Like there's inulin, there's psyllium, like there's so many different types, and then there's the fiber that's in. So the more varied, colorful diet you eat, the more we're good. The more your gut bacteria is going to be happy to get all those prebiotics. And a lot of people are drinking those prebiotic drinks, which all have the same fiber in them. You just eat a varied diet and you're getting more prebiotics that way, eating lentils and peas and that type of thing.
It's the same reason why we say eat the rainbow, because the same phytonutrient, as much as sulforaphane is powerful, what about the lycopene in tomatoes we're getting from the kale salad and our cooked tomatoes, which, by the way, has 300% more bioavailability of the lycopene in cooked tomatoes. Lycopene is fat soluble, hence the little spritz of oil. It wasn't just for cooking.
Well, we have a whole avocado on that too.
Oh, so, there's that fat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, the curcumin in turmeric, the limonene in oranges, and on and on. The resveratrol in grapes, etc. Procyanidins. Oh, don't get me started. I get so excited about phytonutrients. But eat the rainbow and you're getting all of it. What about raw sunflower seeds mixed with water and blended with spices for dressing? What about that?
Why
that
not?
sounds amazing.
Yeah, I haven't done it,
Delish.
but if it's good, then
I'd do it.
I'll try it.
I heard you talking about the dry is preferred. But Betty Ann,
I'd
did
do
you
it.
answer her about frozen peas?
Oh, frozen peas. It won't come out the same as dried
Too
peas.
mushy?
Yeah,
or it's all mushy. But
yeah, I've made it with frozen peas before.
Maybe it
It's-
doesn't
it's
absorb the
It's
flavor.
watery. It comes
it
out
probably
kinda
doesn't
watery.
absorb any flavor.
Yeah.
Because it's
I don't
already
know.
fully
I'd
saturated.
have to look into that. I have made soup with fresh peas, and this ends up being kind of more of my spring favorite soup. So I feel like
Okay,
I
so
end up
we've
doing a lot of
added-
this. I've added potatoes to the pea soup too. I didn't add potatoes to this. There's so many ways to make pea soup. But this
We need
is
chopped mint
more of a
leaves?
spring. Yeah, I have
Later?
them. I have them
Okay.
washed already. So I have a bunch of mint leaves. I wanted to kind of show you how to chop mint leaves. If you get them all in line with each other, and then you kind of pile them up, and then give them a twirl. And this works with basil leaves too.
Oh, right, right.
You twirl them, and then you just get these little fine chopped up pieces of mint. And it's a quarter cup of mint in the whole thing, so we're gonna go like 1/8 now, and then we're gonna put some mint at the end, because you know when you cook mint how it kind of, it's not as strong tasting, so we'll put some in now and then some towards the end. That'll make it more minty, and you can decide how much mint you like, because you'll taste it and then say, oh, I like a lot more mint, or
Does
you
the
know
whole
what, that's
garlic
enough mint
go in
already.
Just
Yeah,
be
we
in
can
there?
put that in there, yeah. Again, this soup cooks so long that you can really like not even start these veggies. I don't think it tastes as good though, because I think, you know, heating them up and letting them caramelize a little bit definitely tastes a little better. This isn't going in yet. It's going to go in with the peas and everything.
You're ready.
And I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Okay.
Okay, so the broth is cooking out, and as that cooks out, everything starts to caramelize, which is nice. And you know, I didn't mention, because Kristi was talking during the farro recipe part, but when you're cooking the mushrooms, whenever you're cooking mushrooms, you don't have to use that much broth at all, because the moisture comes out of the mushrooms, and all of a sudden your pot is kind of filled with a lot of juice or moisture or water from the mushrooms. So you don't, when you're broth sauteing mushrooms, you kind of just wait for them to go a little, and then you don't have to add broth because you're using the mushroom juice.
Right.
Okay.
And just to see, mea culpa, sorry, Andy, you didn't use all the sugar in your coffee. I found the agave, we'd already taken it out. My girl Jacqueline had taken it out for us. Okay.
All right, so
I think we are really ready. We're ready for the giveaway.
yeah, let's do the giveaway, because all that's going to happen now is I'm going to add all the herbs to the pan with the peas and
thyme.
and the thyme and the broth. So it's
Pepper.
thyme, mint, pepper, salt, broth, not very much salt, and then yeah, and then we're going to be cooking it for a very long time. I've seen it done in 45 minutes, and it's taken me as long as an hour and a half to cook. I don't know why it's always so different, but I just watch it. I like to kind of slow cook it too. I don't let it really boil like crazy.
Great.
Okay, giveaway.
Giveaway, all right. Today's winner on March 19th, 2024 goes to, well, hold on. I'm going to keep you in suspense. The answer was 15, and Melinda, you guessed 14. So please give us your home address. You can email us at pinklotus. No, don't do that. Email us at powerup@pinklotus.com. Powerup@pinklotus.com. Or you can type it super quickly in the chat before you go, and we'll catch you there. But let us know your address, and this will be in the mail tomorrow. Your gorgeous sprouting set. All right, awesome. So should we show any last minute things?
No, I mean, there's nothing to see here, because it's just the same thing.
What are y'all hanging out for?
The carrots, celery, and onions. Can you use a slow cooker? Absolutely, you can use a slow cooker. Definitely.
All right. Yay. Well, thank you so much for joining us for show 15. Hence, by the way, that was the number I picked because it was episode 15. And we can't wait to see you next time, which will be in approximately 4 weeks. The exact date will be announced soon, so check our website. pinklotus.com/kitchen brings you straight into the kitchen. But in case you don't know, pinklotus.com/powerup is a community bursting with fun chat rooms and so many resources with informative blogs, some written by me, some written by others, but it's all just kind of a deep dive into how you can best create the most cancer-kicking life. Along the lines of which, I should just throw out there, in case you want to start planning, my summit is back. The Cancer Kicking Summit is coming live and in person as a 3-day adventure into your own soul. It's going to be so exciting. So the first one is October 4, 5, 6. It's in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Yes, you heard me right. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's a hotbed of Pink Lotus fans. So we are going there. We're going where the people want me. And the second one is October 18, 19, 20. And that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Both are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That one is in Palm Desert. So sign-ups at pinklotus.com/summit are available now, but we're securing room blocks. So all of the purchases with the hotel stuff is not live and ready, so that's why I haven't put out a big announcement about it. But you have the inside scoop. Check your calendar. Amazing, like girlfriend's weekend or getaway with hubby, and he can golf, and you can just explore with me the way you think and move and behave and eat and drink and fast and cook.
We'll be cooking.
We have so much fun at these summits, and they truly are life transforming because they're actionable. You leave with a game plan, and you'll never be the same. So I hope to see you there in person, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Chrissy, you want to come?
Yes.
She doesn't want to burn the soup. Okay.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Right,
Thank you
care.
so much. Sorry we threw a lot at you today, but make it all and you'll be happy we did.
Lean and green.
Yeah, that's right. Bye.
Bye.